and always live on the free Odyssey app. The Bruce Cunningham Show on Sports Radio 105.7 The Fan.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome into another edition of the Bruce Cunningham Show, a special snowy edition. The good news is the snow has stopped. The bad news is we're getting more tomorrow. So batten down the hatches, pal. Get that snow shovel out of the shed. Let's go. It's the worst part about snow as you get older is having to shovel it. But this is not a weather show. We got a great show for you today. This one should just smoke. Rich Dubroff was away last week. He was on vacation. He rejoins us as money's being thrown around in baseball like mad. The Orioles haven't done anything. They could this week. We had one of those starting pitching free agents signed yesterday. We'll talk to Rich about that. But elsewhere, the Dodgers, what they're doing. I mean, I looked this up before we got started. I wanted to make sure I was accurate with this stuff. But the Dodgers, they signed Tucker, right? The money is insane. Now, you've got, I'm trying to find it here. That's why I'm humming and hawing. $30 million deferred. Annual value, $57.1 million. All right. Baseball is like the only sport there is without a salary cap, or at least major sport. They've just resisted it all the way. The legend was back in the 70s and 80s when it came up, the Yankees always shot it down. They didn't want a revenue share because the Yankees are bringing in so much more revenue than everybody else. But what we're seeing with the Dodgers here is that in baseball, it's kind of unique, but you can buy a championship. They've won the last two World Series in a row, and now you're adding Tucker. There's no salary cap, but they have luxury tax in baseball. If you go over, then you have to pay a luxury tax. Dodgers were $170 million over the luxury tax last year, and now they're adding this giant contract. This is not sustainable. Next year, when the two sides sit down and hammer out a new basic agreement, that's going to be a major factor. I think the smaller market owners are going to kind of insist on it. Baseball needs to look at the NFL. With the revenue sharing in the NFL, I've said forever and ever, everything's centralized in the NFL, and then everyone shares equally. The only things that local teams don't have to share, I think, is signage, skyboxes, parking, things like that, concessions. The rest of the money is shared equally. And the great irony of that is here you got 32 of the biggest capitalists in the world that all belong to a socialistic organization. But it works. You know, look at Jacksonville, how quick they were able to get there this year. You know, and there's a story like that every single year in the NFL. Why? Because they have an effective salary cap. Baseball needs to look at that. They're foolish if they don't. So, baseball talk with Rich Dubroff coming up at 12:30. It's going to be fascinating, I promise you. Then at 1 o'clock, Femi returns. He's going to be in studio with us from 1 to 1:30. He's fired up. He says he's got some new stuff to spring on you, and it's always entertaining and informative when Femi comes by. I think the world of that guy. And then at 1:30, another guy that I really respect, Kyle Goon from the Baltimore Banner. If you're not reading the Banner, man, you should be. It's a damn fine publication. Were they in business 2 years and they won a Pulitzer Prize? You know, I mean, they really know what they're doing over there. And he agreed to join us today, and I'm glad he did because he's always fun to have on and informative. The John Harbaugh Watch continues. This is the latest that they're still haggling. I saw a report that Harbaugh wants $10 million a year. Now, again, it was a report. I'm not saying this is true. Take this with a grain of salt. That he wants $10 million a year, and then he wants another $10 million to hire his assistants. I don't know if that's a stumbling block or not. I don't know what the stumbling block is. I saw another report that said they could have an announcement Monday or Tuesday, and that John is being deliberate and going over his options. It's interesting to me because as I broke it down, I felt like the Giants and Atlanta were the two best spots for him because Atlanta They're pretty close. Well, guess what? Kevin Stefanski's down there interviewing today, and if they're smart, they won't let him get away. Just the way the Giants did with John Harbaugh. But I think it's going to happen. I think he's going to take some his 2025 assistants with him. I think his O-line coach, I think his O-coordinator could end up in New York. Greg Roman is available. That could also happen if John goes to New York. Now, as far as the Ravens go, they interviewed Shula, the grandson of Don Shula, and I believe that's the latest one, but they have interviewed everyone. And what's going to happen is once those interviews, and most of them are Zoom interviews, once those interviews are over, as Steve Bisciotti said, that, Brown and DaCosta and Ozzie will get it down to 4 or 5, and then Bisciotti will make his choice from that list. And that's the way it's going to work. And it's not going to be fast. But it's interesting because there are so many jobs open. And John Harbaugh's holding up the whole thing. The other thing that could happen is if those negotiations don't succeed, will the other spots be full? I don't know. I'll say this. It was pretty shocking. It's not something we go through around here a lot. I made the observation last week that if you're like 30 or thereabouts, you don't remember another head coach. He's been here that long. There's a whole bunch of names we're hearing. And all of it's just speculation because the Ravens are pretty tight-lipped about this. All teams are. But there's an awful lot of jobs open. And there's an awful lot of pretty good candidates. So we follow this process. We don't know how long this is going to be because they want to get this done because they know that they can't get or an extension for Lamar done without a head coach in place. They know that. So that's one thing that's really going to have to happen here. And then they move forward. I learned an awful lot from Steve Bisciotti on Tuesday. I have told you many, many times on this show how much I used to look forward to and love his annual State of the Ravens. Because the thing about Steve Bisciotti, and I've known him, 25 years now. I met him in the locker room in Oakland after the Ravens won the AFC Championship. That's the day I met Steve Bisciotti. That's how long I've known him. And I can say this about Steve Bisciotti, there's not an ounce of BS in him. I was sitting there watching that entire press conference, waiting for some BS, and it never came. He's a straight shooter. He's a straight talker. He doesn't do the yearly things anymore, and I really wish he did. He's very effective that way. He is a Baltimore guy. He's a dude, and that comes across in those press conferences. And I'm glad he chose to do so. I don't think he's going to want to keep, do them again. He also said in that presser that he wants to be the least known owner in the NFL. And he said it was a great turnaround because when he was a young owner, he was on all the committees. He wanted to have that yellow Hall of Fame jacket one day, like Jerry Jones does, But he's backed off from that. And he also kind of dropped some hints that maybe he's in this for 10 more years. There have been rumors over the years, especially recently, that maybe he'd be willing to sell. It looks like he's going to stick around about 10 more years. But Bisciotti's a couple years younger than me. I think he's 63 or 64. He's about Harbaugh's age, I think. So that would put him in his mid-70s. He's been a great owner. He only hired one head coach, and he's going to be the defining authority on this new head coach. So that's going to bear watching. It is. And it's going to happen, I believe, fairly quickly. It's going to have to. Though another thing Bisciotti said is he doesn't want to go into April with Lamar unsigned, or at least that deal not done, because he says it just handicaps you in free agency and in the draft, and he's right. So I think that's going to add a little bit of, let's say, urgency to this head coach job. But see, on the third hand, Bisciotti knows that he's got the best open job in the NFL. Nobody's even close except Pittsburgh. And he knows he can take his time and be choosy. He knows he can take time and be choosy. And that's what he's going to do. So there's that. So the show is jam-packed today. Because of that, I'm not going to take as many calls as I usually take. I'll tell you this. We're going to take calls next segment. And then we're probably going to take calls around 1:45 in our final segment. So if you got something to say, this is the best time to try and call in and get in line. 410-583-1057 is the number, 410-583-1057. Do you have a favorite candidate in this Ravens coaching search? I'd like to hear about that. There's a lot of names that have been thrown around. And I'm also, as an older fellow now, interested to see that one's named Clint with a K, and one's named, what was the other one? I can't remember. But two guys with K's on first names that are normally C first names. Now, to an older fellow, that's a little bit baffling. And I thought back, my kids were born in the 80s. And these guys were probably born in the 80s. And I don't remember K instead of C being all that cute back then. But it apparently was because, that's what's out there. Anyway, plenty of ground to cover today. And I'd love to hear from you. Give me a call, 410-583-1057. We're off and running on the Bruce Cunningham Show.
The Big Bad Morning Show, Vinny and Haynie, and Inside Access. Weekdays 6 till 6. Get it on YouTube. Subscribe at Baltimore 1057 The Fan.
Baltimore, be in the building when the Coppin State Lady Eagles lock wings with Don Staley's number 3 ranked South Carolina Gamecocks, Sunday, January 18th at noon in the PEC. Tickets are flying, so visit CoppinStateSports.com to lock yours in today.
That's another amazing run by Team USA.
Mom, think I'll be on Team USA one day?
Well,
I'll take this one.
what? Are you speaking to us?
Yes, and to answer your question, anything's possible, especially with Xfinity.
So, I can be the best snowboarder ever?
Well, I can't guarantee that, but Xfinity can guarantee that your internet price won't change for 5 years.
Okay. What if I practice every day?
Then maybe you'll be snowboarding for Team USA at the next Olympic Winter Games. And Mom, you'll still be paying the same price for Wi-Fi.
Ooh, really stuck the landing there.
It's the Xfinity Gold Medal Celebration. Now through February 22nd, get our best price on gig Wi-Fi for 5 years guaranteed, just $50 a month. Plus, get Peacock Premium included for 2 years. That's a $10.99 value per month. Xfinity. Imagine that. Proud partner of Team USA. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Actual speeds vary.
As a detective, I've solved many mysteries, but this one has me stumped.
Why does NJM Insurance remain silent in a world full of catchy jingles?
What are they up to? It's suspicious.
Yet their policyholders all agree.
NJM is amazing. When things go wrong, they do what's right.
But is the world ready for an ad break that's jingle-free? Tune in to Baffling Mysteries, where the story of the missing jingle unfolds.
This fictional podcast is brought to you by NJM. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. Insurance underwritten by NJM Insurance Company and its subsidiaries.
You're too busy to keep up with the latest in appliances. So are the salespeople at big box stores. But the factory-trained experts at Bray & Scarf, they know it all, and they can't wait to share it with you. The showroom alone will introduce you to advancements you never knew existed. Like ovens you can preheat remotely with your phone, fridges with smart temperature controls, dishwashers with bottle washing jets, and so much more. Then you'll speak with an expert. No pressure, no patronizing. Just an open discussion with honest answers and candid advice. Next thing you know, that sleek, modern home you've been dreaming of will be a reality. All because Bray beats big.
Start your new year by saving big on appliances at the New Year sale going on now at Bray & Scarf. Save on our best-selling GE Profile and Cafe appliances. Plus, get 18-month special financing. Come see for yourself at any of Bray & Scarf's convenient locations or shop online at brayandscarf.com, where it doesn't cost more to get more.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-823-5544. That's 800-823-5544. 800-823-5544.
The Bruce Cunningham Show on Sports Radio 105.7 The Fan.
It's a shame the way you mess around with your man. It's a shame the way you hurt me.
Oh, yeah.
It's a shame the way you mess around with
Welcome
your
back,
man.
Bruce Cunningham Show on a snowy Saturday with the Spinners. That was alliterative. Snowy Saturday Spinners. That's great. Written by Stevie Wonder. Bet you didn't know that. In that whole rant that I opened with, I left out today's playoff games. Okay? How stupid of me. 4:30, Bills and Broncos. I love this matchup a lot. And there's something going on here that I bet you didn't know about. I just heard about it on game day. Sean Payton won a Super Bowl with New Orleans, several years ago. He's got a chance to become the first coach in NFL history to win a Super Bowl with two different teams. That's amazing. That's remarkable. In the first one, it's at 4:30, and the Broncos are minus 1.5 points, which means nobody has any idea what's going to happen. Tonight, 49ers and Seahawks. I like this matchup a lot. The 49ers got my respect last week. They had a whole bunch of reasons and chances to quit in that game, and they didn't do it. And they're still there. But Seattle, man, they're tough. I love both of these games. Tomorrow, Texans-Patriots. I like that matchup a lot, too. These are two teams with an awful lot in common. Up and coming, up and coming. And then Rams and Bears tomorrow night. And that kind of speaks for itself. 410-583-1057. Tom and Rising Sun, what's going on?
Hey, buddy. Yeah, how you doing? How you been?
I'm all right.
Yeah, you and me are about the same age. I'm about 1 month older than you.
Okay.
But I'll tell you, I like Kubiak. Is it Kubiak's son or grandson?
Son.
That's the son. Well, I like him, and I like Stefanski.
Yeah.
I like to see one of those two be the head coach of the Ravens.
I tell you what, Stefanski's down in Atlanta today, and if they're smart, they won't let him out of the building.
Yeah, because I think he's a really good coach.
Yeah,
I really do.
he is.
He doesn't have a really good team. But with the Orioles, real quick, they signed a shortstop. Looks like he could play in the majors right now. I mean, he looks really, really good.
Yeah, they spent a lot of money, in Latin America, which they generally don't do. So the insiders view that as quite a big thing for the Orioles, a change in operation,
We just have to get another starter. That's what we have to get.
And they will. They're going to get one by the end of the week. I'm convinced of that. I'm gonna pin Rich Dubroff down on that. But one of those ones that are left is going to end up here. I'm almost positive.
Okay, Bruce, I'll be listening, buddy.
All right,
Take
man.
care.
Thanks. Appreciate it. 410-583-1057. I really do feel that way. That one of these remaining starters is going to fall. I mean, a bunch of big names signed yesterday, but not, there's still starters out there for sure. Let's go to Joe in Woodbury. Joe, what's up?
What's up, Bruce?
Hey.
Anyway, did you remember when somebody asked Bisciotti if the Ravens had won the game, how long would Harbaugh still have his job? He said, yeah, the next week.
1 week.
and I'm thinking he had decided on maybe getting rid of him. If you think about these last 2 years.
Yeah, that's what.
Think about that.
Yep.
Go ahead, Bruce. Go ahead.
The blown leads, the inability to advance in the playoffs. And he talked about that. He said that piled up on him. And that led to lead to the decision. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Nothing, no more crushing than to have the AFC Championship game in your hometown, which we have never had. No. I mean, we thought we hit the pinnacle. We was ready to do Martha Reeves and the Vandellas dance in the street, Bruce.
Call it out around the world. Are you ready for a brand new beat?
We were ready. We were ready. And then last year, to have such a running attack, and it's just those type of things that, cause him it's a change is needed.
Yeah.
And I think by him getting this three-man panel to search for they'll probably get as high as 15 people as far as coaches and letting the three-man panel dwindle it down.
Actually, Joe, I think they've already passed the 15 mark. They had Shula in there.
It was just 11 yesterday.
Yeah, they're talking to everybody. And everybody wants to talk to him because this is the best job available.
Right. But do you trust Eric, Ozzie, and Sashi to do that, to find the 5 out of the top 15 or 15.
Well, I don't know Sashi, but I'll tell you this: Femi thinks the world of Sashi, and that carries a lot of weight with me, though.
All right, then, but that's good.
And I have. Okay, go ahead.
No, one more thing, and I'll get off. The Harbaugh thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when a new coach comes into a team, he wants to bring his own luggage. But if the powers that be there saying, well, we think you ought to go another route, I think I heard that's the holdup going on with that now, right?
Yeah, he's going to want a lot to say. And also, everybody knows the Giants general manager is terrible. And I think that's probably a sticking point, too.
Yeah, Harbaugh could say, why don't you get a new one of them?
Yeah.
But anyway, Bruce, nice talking to you.
All right, Joe.
Other guys talk. I know you jammed up today, buddy. Have a blessed, safe weekend.
See you later. Thank you for that. 410-583-1057. Let's go to Ken in Falston. Ken, what's up?
Hey, it's Tim, Bruce. How you doing,
hey,
bud?
Tim. Good to talk to you.
Hey, listen, I got a quick question for you. First of all, as far as the head coach goes, that's way beyond my pay scale. So I think we both agree they need to hit a home run on this.
Yeah.
And they need to do a better job as far as picking a head coach as they did drafting players.
Yeah.
But with that said, I love Femi, too, by the way. Listen to Femi. I tried to get in last week, and I would want to ask him, and maybe you know the answer. Like, I'm a Lamar fan. He's a big players guy, and I get that. He was a player.
Yeah.
So, and I get where he's coming from, and it's refreshing. But why did the Ravens always practice in the afternoons during summer camp when most of the NFL practices in the morning? I never understood that.
Yeah, and Mike Preston linked it to Lamar, and the funny thing about it was as much storm as that column caused, it's like getting truer every day, isn't it?
It sure is.
See, that's usually the case with Mike Preston. Trust me, I've known him 30 years, and that's how it works,
Yeah, but Femi, he sounded like everything Mike said was, not true. So it's interesting. It's usually somewhere in the middle, but I just was curious what Femi would say about why they practice.
Yeah, I'll remember to ask him that.
Appreciate that,
All
Bruce.
Right.
Thank you.
All right, Tim, thank you. Let's go to Andy in Joppatown. Andy, what's up?
Hey, Bruce.
Hey.
I'm curious to know why nobody's talking about John Gruden.
Well,
I know I know because of that situation, but he's
also
basically exonerated.
Everybody's hiring young guys. Okay, and like Bisciotti alluded to it the other day, he's planning on making a hire that's going to last as long as John did. So you bring in a guy in his 50s or 60s. Well, you can't do that.
What sucks too is he's the perfect representative. If you took away the other crap, he's the perfect representative for the Ravens. The way he his attitude with football and his passion and all that. I mean, he would be so perfect.
Well, he's been out of the game, and I mean, the NFL the way it is now, if you take 2 weeks out, then you're way behind. I'm just not sure. Plus his age is working against him, and he might be a little bit too brash, let's say, for the Ravens right now.
You know what? I think you just changed my mind. I think you're right.
Hey, I'll tell you a quick fun fact before we let you go. All right. On this date in 1971, the Colts beat the Cowboys in the Super Bowl. Now, the reason I bring that up is because the 71 Super Bowl was after the 1970 season, right?
Right.
Okay. The Orioles won the World Series in 1970. We had world champions in baseball and football as of this date in 1971. How about that?
We were Boston before Boston.
City of champions, baby. Thanks for the call, Andy. I appreciate it. Coming up, Rich Dubrov's going to join us. We got an awful lot to unpack with that dude. Stick around.
On demand, online, on your way to wherever you're going. The free Odyssey app is loaded with opinions, analysis, podcasts, and moments that matter most from the Big Bad Morning Show. Vinny and Haynie and Inside Access. Download it today and search 105.7 The Fan.
Baltimore, be in the building when the Coppin State Lady Eagles lock wings with Don Staley's number 3 ranked South Carolina Gamecocks. Sunday, January 18th at noon in the PEC. Tickets are flying, so visit CoppinStateSports.com to lock yours in today.
Problem gambling is on the rise in Maryland, and it's important you know the score. That higher rates of depression, divorce, and bankruptcy affect everyone in a gambler's life. that children and teens who gamble have higher risks for developing serious gambling problems as adults. Learn the risks. Get the facts. If you or someone you know needs help, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org. Services are free and always confidential.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. Build your team. Build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. And you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6986. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6986. That's 800-575-6986. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
When the new year hits, every business could use a little something to stay ahead. A lift, a jump start, an edge, or perhaps a boost. Like the all-new 5-year business boost from Comcast Business. It's the certainty of a price lock for 5 years on qualifying internet bundles. Plus, you'll have the most reliable Wi-Fi with our best equipment, so your whole team can stay connected at a great rate. And to sweeten the deal, ask about a $500 prepaid card when you add 2 lines of mobile. It's the boost your business deserves. So sign up for the 5-year business boost and get a 5-year price lock on ultra-reliable Wi-Fi. Plus, ask about a $500 prepaid card. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 2/22/26, new customers only. 1-year contract required for guaranteed rate. 5-year pricing applies to monthly service charge excluding taxes and fees. Best Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, May 2025.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
With the new IHOP value menu, $6 is all it takes to go to your happy place, where stacks of pancakes with bacon and eggs are just $6 every day. French toast, sausage, and eggs are, you guessed it, $6. And fluffy omelets come with a side of pancakes and only cost $6. Go to your happy plates every day at IHOP. $7 in some locations. Available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
The Bruce Cunningham Show on Sports Radio 105.7 The Fan.
Bruce Cunningham Show on a snowy Saturday. The good news is the snow stopped. although it could be back tomorrow. Joining me now, a man who was absent from the show last week because he was in a place where it never snows, in Italy. Rich, how was the trip? Did we lose him? I had that great setup. Let's try old Rich again. He must have had his phone on mute or something. We'll get him. But by the way, somebody mentioned a minute ago about practicing in the afternoon. And Femi is ready to address that. He just texted me, and he's on his way. He'll be here from 1 to 1:30. I'd love to have him for the whole hour. But we booked Kyle Goon from the Banner to come on. So it's great. We'll give you a lot in a half hour, me and Femi. I promise you that. 410-583-1057 is the number. 410-583-1057. Do we have him? We think. Oh, man. Aaron's looking puzzled over there. It's all right. You just wave at me when we're ready. Kyle Goon, by the way, who's joining us at 12:30, he had a great column today about Lamar and how the Ravens want him to take the reins. And can he accept that? Is he willing to accept that? So we'll get into all that with Kyle for sure. But Femi is the guy. I mean, we'll get that whole half hour with him. And what do we look like over there? I don't know. But that's fine. Rich Dubroff will join us in a second. One of the things I wanted to mention to him, I don't know if you saw this, but Masson responding to fan demand. They're going to broadcast 20 Orioles spring training games. 20. See, as I understand it, there was politics at Masson because whenever they showed an Oriole exhibition game, they had to show a Nationals exhibition game. They had to keep it kind of even that way. And now they don't have that anymore. The Nationals have their own deal, and so the Orioles can do whatever they like, and so they're going to broadcast 20 games this spring, and it's going to be great. You know, when I was working at Fox 45, we had satellite, and we could pull in stations from just about anywhere. And all of the Boston, Yankees, Philadelphia, you know, they broadcast just about all the preseason games or exhibition games. And I would always say, what a missed opportunity that is. So they're going to do it. And also, they're bringing back Josh Lewin, our friend, who was at WBAL like 30 years ago, went on to fame and fortune, national gigs and stuff like that. And he's going to rejoin the broadcast team. So that's great. Be good to see Josh again. I'm sure some of you remember him. That's for sure. Also, NCAA basketball today. The Terps are idle, first of all, and it's probably a good thing because they're just not playing well at all. That trip to the West Coast, that was disastrous. You know, I mean, gee whiz. I know Buzz Williams came in late. Rich, are you there?
I am.
Hey, we're wondering what happened to Rich.
Well, I know. I've been sitting here listening. I've been sitting here listening to you. You know, you dance really well.
Oh, you watching on YouTube, huh? Oh boy. See, I got to watch that. I got to watch about scratching my nose and all of that stuff. Rich, I want to start with the Dodgers.
Sure.
And what they did yesterday. That's a lot of money. They were already over $170 million over the luxury tax. I mean, is that whole thing a farce?
I don't know if it's a farce, but they have enough money so that they don't care as much.
Yeah.
You know, they bring in, you know, they sell out the games, and they can charge basically whatever they want, and they're in a huge media market, and they win. It's not just that they have a lot of money. They're good scouts too.
Yeah.
I mean, even though they don't draft high, they've drafted well, and players want to play for them. And the bad news is, you know, for the next year, you and I are going to start talking about the lockout.
Yep.
Because it's inevitable and it's pathetic.
The owners are going to want a cap, and the players aren't going to want a cap. I mean, just to really oversimplify it, that's what it's going to come down to, right?
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
And fans are going to get hurt, disgusted
as usual,
and they don't. The thing is, it was the best World Series ever.
Yeah.
Last year, and you know, they should be talking about what great games they had, in the ALCS, and what great games they had in the World Series, and how much fun that they could have. But they're not going. They're not going to, and I just think that it's tragic. And I know we're going to be talking about that when fans want to be talking about baseball, and it's just it's inevitable. The Dodgers are trying to take advantage of the system that they have while they have it.
While they can, yes.
Yeah. And I don't know what's going to happen except bad things. Bad things for fans. Fans will oversimplify it by saying, well, it's just a bunch of millionaires versus versus billionaires.
Yeah.
Which it's not, but I just don't, I think it's okay. The players think that more teams should be spending more, and they've done that this year.
Mm-hmm.
This offseason. I mean, the Pirates, who have not been a spender, went out and they got Ryan O'Hearn and some others, and the Marlins and the A's have spent a fair amount of money. So teams that haven't spent are spending. Now, maybe it's deliberate because they want to show that, they are spending, and it's not, and it's not the players that are, the players really don't have a complaint. But it's a very complicated system. And even David Rubenstein has argued for a cap. And I don't necessarily think that's, I don't necessarily think that a spending cap or a spending floor is even a great idea. Everybody thinks, well, gee, let's just have a spending floor.
Yeah.
What if you have a really good young team and you're just able to have, for a couple of years, a bunch of really good young, low-paid players who contend? Then do you need to just put in a couple of mediocre veterans to make it, to make sure that you hit the salary floor? And I don't think necessarily a cap is a great idea. So they'll work it out, but it'll be painful.
It will, and we won't have games to go to and any of that. We had Ranger Suarez sign. Valdez is the last guy standing. Are the Orioles in on him?
Yeah, they are, but you don't know because he's the last guy standing.
The price is going to get higher.
The price is going to get really higher. And when you look, you talk about the Tucker contract, but also the Bo Bichette contract.
Yes, with the Mets.
Was really an interesting one. Here, players in the case of Tucker, in the case of Bichette, they're going for shorter contracts with a higher annual value. Mm-hmm. So Bichette's contract is what, $42 million a year, basically for 3 years. Well, if the Orioles don't want, I know a lot of fans think, oh, gee, the Orioles should just go out and do this, and that's a real oversimplification.
Yeah,
because you don't know what how his agent is playing it and what they're asking for. I mean, if they're asking for 7 years,
no, you can't do that.
Like they did with Dylan Cease. Well, no, because the odds are that at the end, maybe in the second half of the contract, he's not going to be worth it.
Right.
And in a market like this, you really can't do that. If you could get him for 5 years and $150 million, I think they would. But I think it's again, it's oversimplifying it, and I think that he will. The Orioles have a good chance of getting him, but I wouldn't bet on it.
No. So, do they go into spring training with this rotation, with this pitching staff, or would you anticipate a trade?
Well, also there was some interesting news late last night. I woke up to reading it this morning that that according to Ken Rosenthal in The Athletic, that the Orioles have some interest in Justin Verlander, and I'm going to be writing about that.
Wow.
For tomorrow. And Verlander is going to be 43 years old next month.
Yeah.
He's 2 months younger than Mike Elias. He's 4 months younger than manager Craig Albarnaz. He pitched against Matt Holliday and Jackson Holliday in the big leagues. Justin Verlander's a future Hall of Famer, and I think that if they got him, that would be great. I mean, more star power. Is always a good thing. It's more fun, and then that gives them more depth in the rotation. But no, to answer your other question about trades, I think it's possible. But the problem is the Orioles gave a lot of prospects away.
They did.
For Shane Boss, four top 30 prospects. So I think that that may not be happening. Though they still have Kobe Mayo and Ryan Mountcastle at first base. So that's something to look at in the coming weeks.
Another thing, and this is off field, but the Orioles announced they're going to show 20 exhibition games, which is a lot more than we've been used to seeing. I explained it a little earlier. It got a little political with the Nats as far as showing spring training games, didn't it? Didn't they have to show one Nat game for every time they showed an Oriole game or something like that?
It wasn't political. It was contractual.
Okay.
Because of Masson. The Masson deal was that the two teams had to be treated equally. The same number of games, same number of Orioles games, and the same number of Nationals games were on Masson 1 and Masson 2. And Bruce, I'm really going to miss Masson 2 because now that the Nationals are going to show their games through Major League Baseball. Major League Baseball has a growing number of teams' rights now. And the Nationals have decided to do that rather than going with Masson.
That's the wave of the future, Rich. I mean, they're pioneers here.
So, Masson 2 goes away, and I'm really going to miss, horse racing from Winnipeg.
I like that, and I also like the chase tag. Oh, that was a big favorite. We used to leave it on Sundays on purpose, just to see what they were showing. Hey, one last thing. We were talking about the broadcast. A good friend of both of ours, Josh Lewin, is coming back to Baltimore. That's going to be so cool to have him back here.
Yeah, and I'm a friend of the court here. I'm very sorry that my friend
Jeff Arnold, of course.
Jeff Arnold. I don't know if you really know Jeff.
Because I do.
Oh, okay, he did, but Jeff is no longer there, and Josh is going to do, I think, about 70 games. And I remember when Josh was here. He was a kid.
Yeah, he was.
He was 20. He's 50. I think he's 57 years old now.
Yeah.
And Josh has been around. He's a very accomplished broadcaster. He was, still new at this, but he's been with a number of teams since. He was with the Cubs. He was with the Tigers.
Right.
The Rangers.
He did network stuff too, I think, at times.
Network stuff for Fox.
Yeah.
And now he's been out in Southern California doing he did the Chargers games when they were in San Diego. He does UCLA basketball and football, and he'll be sort of filling in. Ben Wagner and Brett Holland are two other friends of mine.
Right.
Are the principal radio broadcasters, but there'll be enough games for him because Ben Wagner, I think, will be doing some TV games when Kevin Brown is off or doing other things.
Yeah.
So there are enough games for Josh Lewin. So it'll be great. I mean, I've run into him a few times over the years, but not in the last several.
Yeah, he's going to love that. That's for sure. Rich, welcome back. Glad to have you. I hope Italy was to your liking.
It was. I went to Italy. I went to Spain. I went to France. I went to Monaco. I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed my time. And I heard that the Ravens fired their coach while I was.
Yeah, they let him go.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm just catching up now.
I hear you. All right, Rich. Thanks. We'll talk next week. No, there's no show next week. We'll talk in 2 weeks.
Okay, my pleasure. Thank you, Bruce.
Thank you, Rich. All right, coming up, I got a big surprise for you. Stick around to hear what it is.
With the free Odyssey app, you can rewind to specific moments from all our shows.
Over and over and over. Over and over and over.
Download it today and search 105.7 The Fan.
Ready for action, basketball fans? BetMGM, an authorized gaming partner of the NBA, is giving players another reason to hit the court this season. BetMGM is adding extra excitement to every basket, every slam dunk, and every buzzer-beating shot with special promotions, new features, and more. Log in throughout the season to find odds boost tokens, no sweat tokens, and same-game parlay boost tokens in your account to amplify your winnings. Enjoy enhanced product features like Dark Mode 2. Log in to BetMGM, an authorized gaming partner of the NBA, all throughout the basketball season to see what's new.
BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Maryland only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards vary and expire in 7 days. Please play responsibly. In partnership with MGM National Harbor.
My ride smells just right, just right, just right, just right.
Y'all gotta try that for Bree's car.
Just right, just right, just right. La 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 la. With up to 40 days of consistency, all over Bree's car clips right on your vent. You know my car's my happy place. Keep that smile on my face when it smells just right, just right, just right. Yeah, breathe happy for Breeze. La 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 la.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks Vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks Vapors when you need more comfort for yourself. Use as directed.
Revitalize your bathroom with big savings at Lowe's. Get up to 40% off select vanities and free delivery during our bath savings event. Plus, get up to 40% off select shower heads. No matter what style you're looking for, we've got you covered. Shop for your bathroom refresh at Lowe's. We help, you save. While supplies last, selection varies by location. Refresh your bathroom with big savings at Lowe's. Reimagine your bathroom with up to 40% off select faucets during our bath savings event. Need it today? Order by 2 p.m. for same-day delivery by 8 p.m. Shop for your bathroom refresh at Lowe's. We help, you save. While supplies last, selection varies by location. Same-day delivery on eligible in-stock items. Subject to availability. Fees vary. Visit Lowes.com/same-day delivery for full terms.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
The Bruce Cunningham Show on Sports Radio 105.7 The Fan.
Yes, sir. Welcome back. Have you heard this song?
I have not.
It came out last Friday, Bruno Mars. It's like the best thing I've ever heard, you know? It's going to rocket up the charts.
Well, Bruno's been in this kind of lane for a while, though. This is kind of, what he does. So I'm surprised you should be a Bruno fan.
I am a Bruno fan.
Yeah, okay, cool.
But this particular song just went to my soul.
Oh, I gotcha. Yeah, no, it's definitely it's a Bruce Cunningham special right there.
The latest trend, Hawaiian Soul.
Yeah. Oh, but Bruno's been doing it forever.
I know he has.
Yeah, he has.
One of the best halftime shows in Super Bowl history.
Yeah, I mean, if there's anybody that's going to like Bruno, it's Uncle Bruce. Uncle Bruce is going to love him some Bruno.
I do. I love that song.
There we go.
Oh, by the way, Femi is here. He got here a little bit early, which is good because we got a lot of stuff to talk about. One thing that I'm watching, and we didn't talk about this ahead of time, is John Harbaugh up in New York. They've been talking for like 4 or 5 days. There were reports coming out that he wants $10 million a year, $10 million for his staff, and his other thing, he wants control over the roster and things. You're an NFL guy. the Giants GM is not exactly the most respected guy in town, and we're just speculating here, but I'm thinking that might be the holdup here.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone got to see on television. If you watched the Hard Knock stuff, the way that the Saquon Barkley stuff was handled, and you saw how gut-wrenching it was for Saquon. And it felt more like a power move by Joe Schoen to me. And even the Mara family and the ownership was like, let's not let him get out of this building. And when you think about what he did for Philadelphia and the small amount of money from where the Eagles paid him and what the Giants were offering, that's how you treat one of the best guys you've drafted in Eagles history.
Yeah.
Like that wasn't a good look. And there was a smugness about it that I didn't like. And Joe Schoen doesn't seem like a bad guy. Like I'm just looking at the business side of it. I don't know him personally, so I'm not going to cast aspersions on people that I don't know. I don't do that. I don't make it personal that way. But for me, I could just see how John probably saw that. John doesn't need Hard Knocks to get information on people either.
Right.
And John has earned the right. There's never been a coach this caliber come into the Giants with a Super Bowl ring. His pedigree, he's a Hall of Fame head coach. And so they're going to give him what he wants. And Joe Schoen is probably fighting and pushing back on that a little bit.
Yeah.
It'll be the biggest debacle maybe in recent Giants history if this falls apart.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But I hope they don't let it fall apart because I think culture setting and culture building is what the Giants need. We can worry about the micro detailing of schematics later. They need a new culture. John can do that.
Well, they have a quarterback.
They do.
If Scatterboo stays healthy, they got a running back. They got some great pieces on defense, and Neighbors, that wide receiver, is pretty good if he stays healthy. So I'm just saying, those are some pretty good pieces.
Well, I think that's what John sees. I think that's what everybody sees, right? And so, to me, if you want to get these kids and this organization all on track, moving in the right direction, the scaffolding is the culture. And if there's anything that resonates across the NFL, it's the Ravens culture. And I think that if you can establish that work ethic and that grind, and that sort of kind of play like a Raven moniker, the Giants will have their own at some point. And don't get me wrong, the Giants are one of the blue bloods of the NFL for sure, and they're respected. I remember
how many franchises are 100+ years old?
Yeah, not very many, but I remember watching Phil Simms and Mark Bavaro and all these different guys throughout history. And I remember being a young whippersnapper, watching the Giants and watching the Giants in the playoffs, playing the Bears and playing the Niners. Did they ever actually play the Niners in the playoffs? Maybe, I think they did a couple times.
They almost have to.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to think of specific games that I can recall kind of off the top of my head. I feel like I remember a game in San Francisco with the Giants.
Probably.
But my point is that the Giants are, I feel like the Giants and John, they're equal powerhouses in their respective lanes, and I think they're a match made in heaven, and I just hope that egos don't derail it.
Now, in the coaching scene, I heard something ominous this week. The Steelers want to talk to Brian Flores. That is the perfect spot for him, and it would not be good news for the Ravens.
Brian Flores should be here.
Well, I know
he's my number one
Mine
head coach.
too, but I'm saying the Steelers.
Yeah, if he goes to the Steelers, we've already had problems with the Steelers, right? And it'll just continue those problems because he knows some things about defending Lamar. He knows some things about defense from a creative perspective, schematics, X and O's, drawing it up in the dirt, creativity. It'll be a problem for sure. And I respect Pittsburgh the same way I respect the Giants. They are a blue blood organization that with the right head coach in place will be a problem going forward into infinity. I mean, that's just the reality of it. There's a lot of coaches I hope they get, and Brian Flores is not one of them.
Yeah. You talk about fitting the culture in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh, tough guy like that. So, anyway, Femi and I have a lot to talk about coming up in the next half hour. He came in early. He was nice enough to do that. In fact, he wants to take me to task a little bit. So you can look forward to that coming up in the second hour of the Bruce Cunningham Show. Stick around, everybody.
Attention now turns to finding the next head coach for the Baltimore Ravens. Should we hire someone with a defensive focus or a coach who gets the best out of Lamar Jackson? What's your take? Join the conversation. Call or text 410-583-1057 or stream The Fan on YouTube. Search Baltimore 1057 The Fan.
Baltimore, Be in the building when the Coppin State Lady Eagles lock wings with Don Staley's number 3 ranked South Carolina Gamecocks. Sunday, January 18th at noon in the PEC. Tickets are flying, so visit CoppinStateSports.com to lock yours in today.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest. The last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
Paramount Plus is the new home of UFC, and we're coming out swinging with UFC 324.
Oh, what a shot!
And 325. On back-to-back weekends, the new era is here.
It's time!
Every fight.
Bam! Let's go!
One subscription.
Oh my goodness!
Pay-per-view just got knocked out.
Let's go!
Back-to-back blockbuster UFC events this month, only on Paramount Plus.
When someone treats you like family, you remember it. That's why so many clients send their loved ones to Rice Law. Because we don't just handle cases, we take them personally. Rice Law. Best advice, call Rice.
RiceLawMD.com.
We hope you never need us, but if you're ever injured in an accident, we'll handle everything. With trusted guidance and personal attention, so you can focus on what matters most. Your recovery. Rice Law. Best advice, call Rice.
RiceLawMD.com.
That's another amazing run by Team USA.
Mom, think I'll be on Team USA one day?
Well, I'll take this one.
What? Are you speaking to us?
Yes, and to answer your question, anything's possible, especially with Xfinity.
So, I can be the best snowboarder ever?
Well, I can't guarantee that, but Xfinity can guarantee that your internet price won't change for 5 years.
Okay. What if I practice every day?
Then maybe you'll be snowboarding for Team USA at the next Olympic Winter Games. And Mom, you'll still be paying the same price for Wi-Fi.
Ooh, really stuck the landing there.
It's the Xfinity Gold Medal Celebration. Now through February 22nd, get our best price on gig Wi-Fi for 5 years guaranteed, just $50 a month. Plus, get Peacock Premium included for 2 years. That's a $10.99 value per month. Xfinity. Imagine that. Proud partner of Team USA. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Actual speeds vary.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
From the Thompson Creek Window Company Studios, one window replacement company that does it all. This is WJZ-FM, Catonsville, Baltimore's sports talk at 105.7 The Fan, and always live on the free Odyssey app. The Bruce Cunningham Show on Sports Radio 105.7 The Fan.
Listen, baby, ain't no mountain high, ain't no valley low, ain't no river wide enough, baby.
If you need me, call me, no matter where you are, no matter how far.
Don't worry, baby,
just call my name, I'll be there in a hurry. You don't have to worry, 'cause baby, there ain't no mountain high enough, ain't no valley low enough.
Cunningham Show, hour number 2. We're happy to have former Ravens Super Bowl champion Obafemi Ayanbadejo with us. And Femi, I want to start out this way. It was so refreshing to see Steve Bisciotti sit down in front of those cameras the other day. He used to do it every single year, and we used to look forward to it. And what he showed us last week is that there's not a lot of BS in him at all. I mean, he's going to talk you straight, and he's going to tell you what he really thinks, and that's what he showed us last week.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I think that what's amazing is that, and look, is Eric a little more tight-lipped than people would like? Yes, but it's worked. Was John the same way? Absolutely. John would fall on the train tracks for his players. Everyone knows that. But they're not going to let you in. That's not what they do. No. And I know that because they're not as transparent as people want, and they're not required to be transparent. That's not their job. They're not the PR department. Now, yes, they do give some insight, and they will let you know certain things, but it's always going to kind of be on their terms, right? And from my perspective, if we're going to talk about positioning and thoughts and relationships, the people that we're talking about, they need to be conferred with. And those statements and ideas need to be triangulated, corroborated, and at least there needs to be a genuine attempt for these people to give insight on fact and fiction around their supposed feelings and thoughts. And in my opinion, that just enough of that hasn't been done. There's a lot of conjecture. There's a lot of subjective maneuvering. There's an agenda. And I gave you my whole monologue a week ago. I won't read that monologue again. I hope everybody was listening.
Yeah, they were.
My job as a former player, I have former teammates and former front office folks all across the NFL. I went this week, every person that I know that's not playing in the playoffs right now that I could reach out to, I spoke to many of them. The state of the union of the Ravens is strong.
Oh, yeah.
The respect for the Ravens across the league is strong. And anything else is a personal, subjective narrative. And let me say that again, a personal, subjective narrative. We should be optimistic about the future. We should be optimistic about our quarterback. And that's where I stand as a former player, and I'm going to keep standing on that. And for those of you that want to know my motivation, go look at Pat McAfee's post on X from last week.
I saw it.
About players creating content versus traditional journalism, right? There's a big rift in this space right now. Huge. And so my thought is that I'm not going to be your enemy, but I am going to look at the content that you create, and I'm going to look for what I said last week. Is it consistent? Is it objective? And are you equally negative and equally positive? Are you equally handing flowers as you are equally handing critiques? And look, people, if for those of you that are listening, you know it's not balanced by a lot of folks in this community. You know that.
And that brings us to our friend Mike Preston.
Correct.
In the first hour, after listening to Bisciotti brought up the fact that he talked to Lamar, and Lamar didn't have a problem with Harbaugh. He didn't have a problem. I took that to mean he was kind of acknowledging that maybe there was something to Mike Preston's column after all. You don't agree at all?
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, I don't know how much more plain you can make it.
Not plain enough for me, apparently.
Well, it was really plain for me. I mean, it wasn't like we want to overread into things and overanalyze things. And when the simple things are right in front of us, we don't want to believe them. I don't know why. Yeah. I've been saying the same thing for a long time now. I did my research internally and externally, right? There's nothing exogenous polluting my perspective. I promise you that. And I will give the critique when it's required, and I'll give the flowers when they're required. And I do both. Steve opened up his monologue, and it was really brief. He said, hey, the media, we appreciate most of the things that you say. That he said that on purpose. Yeah. And he made a point to say that I spoke to Lamar in detail, and Lamar said, I don't have a problem with Monk, and I don't have a problem with Harbs. I do not know where this comes from. If Lamar says that, that's good enough for me. I don't need to hear anybody else. The person that we're talking about is telling you how he feels. Why do we need to overanalyze the person that we're talking about's words? There's nothing else to say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so when Steve was talking about the media, he made it a point to point out Jeff Zebreck and Jamison Hensley.
Right.
Those are his two favorite people. You know why? Because they are balanced. And of course, he gives out third place participation trophies to make people feel good and pacify them. I won't say any other names, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I never got one of those.
Yeah,
either.
we don't want those though. We don't want third place participation trophies. Yeah, we just want to know how people really feel. We don't need pats on our heads to make us feel good.
Well, this process is not going to be a short one. And I thought, I said earlier in the show that I thought they were going to try and speed it up just so they could get Lamar sitting down and get this extension done, because they do not want to hit April with this thing still hanging over.
Yeah.
And Bisciotti said that last
No, he
week.
did. And I love Steve. Steve put a challenge out And I think that there's something. See, Steve is at the top of the food chain, right? You know, I mean, it's his business, it's his organization.
Yeah.
So there's things that he can say that Eric and John couldn't say, and maybe Ozzy couldn't say, because they wouldn't say, because they can't speak for Steve, right? And even if Steve had told them, it's not in their nature to be that explicit or that transparent. And I understand. The reason this thing works is because there's a level of trust between the people at the very top. They know to not speak out of turn, and they know how to address certain things. Is it ever going to be good enough for fans? Probably not. Is it ever going to be good enough for the media?
No.
Probably not. But they don't care about that. Their job is to win football games.
Yeah.
And guess who? And I did a deep analysis over the last 7 years. The third winningest franchise over the last 7 years are the Ravens. I took all the data and all the performances over the last 7 years, from Pro Bowls to All Pros to wins above replacement to draft capital, second contracts. You know who the top 3 organizations are in the NFL? Kansas City, Philadelphia, Baltimore Ravens.
How about that?
I didn't make this up.
Wow.
The large language model that I dumped this in, and I used Claude, I used ChatGPT, and I used Gemini. I used 3 different ones to cross-reference what I was doing. They all came out with the same analysis, the top 3 organizations. I actually analyzed the top 10, but just so people know that I don't have an agenda here. And if I see something that is wrong, I will say what it is. And during the season, when it came to schematics, X's and O's, the run game, play calling, predictability, I was critical when it needed to be, but I will not be overly critical because I have some personal vendetta. That's not what I do.
Right. Well, you've also got an MBA, so that puts a little heft in.
I mean, I have spent time on campus at a few lauded universities, but you know what? I do my research, period.
Yeah.
I have the data to back up where I stand.
See, I can't match your story. I got into VCU because they took the top 110% of every high school class. So there's a big gulf between you and me. VCU doesn't have a football team, but they have a tight end on the Colts. Mo Alley Cox. He was their center.
Is that right?
Yeah, he's on his 3rd contract, so I guess it's going to work out.
He's a good player.
Today, we were talking about these matchups tonight. In Seattle, I really, really like, but for some reason, I haven't seen all that much of Seattle. And I think a lot of people in this area haven't. What do you see from Seattle that you like?
Yeah, I mean, they're that, obviously, you know, with it's Clint Kubiak, who's the offensive coordinator. I'm Clay and Clint, and I know they're going against each other today.
And they're both with a K. I talked about this earlier.
Yeah, I know. It's okay. You know how it is. The K's and the C's. Everybody wants to get cute with the names. Basic names, but cute spelling. The point is that they're all, and I said this to you off air, right? Like, we can all trace this back to one man, Bill Walsh, right? This is, you know, you can go down the line. Kubiak, McVay, Shanahan, Billick, Green, Seifert, Walsh. The beauty of, in my opinion, of Mike McDaniel, who's also tied to these guys, right, is that Mike McDaniel is actually, in my opinion, he's one of the few that I think has created his own offensive schematic branch off that tree. Sean McVay has to some degree as well.
I think Denny Green did a little bit too.
Well, yeah, Denny did, but Denny wasn't. I played for Denny in 2
I know you did. That's why I bring it up.
But Denny wasn't really a play caller.
Okay.
You know what I mean? He was more of a CEO type.
Right.
Where Brian was a play caller.
Right.
And so Brian, no doubt. I played for Norv and I played for Brian, and I briefly was with Coach Wisenhunt. I've been with a few coordinators, and I'd say Brian was the most intelligent and the most creative of the group for sure. Denny was probably the best CEO that I played for, and also probably the most empathetic, that really understood kind of what players deal with on a personal level. I'll say that Norv Turner was kind of a mad genius. You know what I mean? Really different offensive system, but really,
worked.
really good.
Yeah.
And to get back to your point about these games, I think for me, it's going to come down to Sam Darnold, right? Seattle's defense, to me, is the breadwinner, honestly, and that run game. I mean, that 2-headed monster they have at running back is legit. And they probably have the best, in my opinion, maybe the best receiver in the NFL. And so when you marry the receiver and the run game, and Sam Darnold is not to be toyed with. I think Sam Darnold is really talented. He gets a little careless with the football sometimes, but that defense makes everything work. The same way that Houston's defense makes everything work. And that's why I think Seattle and Houston are on a head-to-head collision. It's not the beautiful picks. It's not the you know, everyone's kind of got at this point, the Rams and probably Buffalo or Denver. I'm actually going Houston and Seattle to be there at the end.
I could see that, and I'd like that matchup a lot. I'm really bullish on Houston. They really impressed me last week. The hardest thing an NFL team has to do is find the right head coach and the right quarterback, and they got both those things down there. So now you just tend the garden. You just grow the crops, right?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at Coach Ryan's and you look at the way his players feed off of him.
What a difference he's made.
It's pretty amazing. And you look at Coach Saleh, right? And I know Saleh kind of does the same thing. I actually think that D'Amico got bumped to defensive coordinator when Saleh went to the Jets, and then D'Amico went to Houston, and then Saleh came back. And they're right back to the Niners are right back to playing great ball on defense with less. They're doing more with less right now, and so I'm excited for the Niners. They've really impressed me. I think the story ends this weekend, though.
They got a lot of fight in them. That's for sure. You mentioned McDaniel a minute ago. What are his strengths? Why you like him so much?
His empathy, the psychological component, his ability to relate to players. Without that, his offensive genius is potentless. His ability to sit down and look you in the eye and understand where you come from as an individual and get into your mind and speak to your needs, and whether it's a first-round draft pick probably or an undrafted free agent, I think he can find a connection. He really does have a psychological component to the way that he does business that I think is really lacking at a lot of times.
Was he miscast as a head coach?
I don't think so. I think that he should be a head coach, but I think 2 more years as a coordinator with the right team, and you know where the right team is for me. You know what I mean? It's right here in Baltimore. Yeah. Him and Lamar. It'd be scorched earth. I can't even articulate what I think that match. Look, if you have Brian Flores with his pedigree, Bill Belichick, understudy, 14 years in New England, 4 Super Bowl rings, special teams, linebacker coach, defensive coordinator, head coach, stoicism, right, as a leader.
Tough guy.
Will add to the culture that we've already built. He understands it. And then you bring in the kind of like and I say this with love and respect, more of like the motherly figure in a Mike McDaniel.
Okay.
Like the more nurturing,
I get that.
Sit down with you, break it down, build with you. His offensive mind is otherworldly. It's next level. The way that he takes personnel groupings and lines receivers up at running back and running back at receiver, and then 8 yards offset off the line of scrimmage, almost in the slot, and you're like, I don't even know how to cover this. Like, how do we even
time out?
Yeah, what is this, right? What are we doing with this? That's what he'll do. And with Derrick Henry, and you know what he would do with Keaton Mitchell? Oh my goodness. Like I just get excited just thinking about it. But yeah, so you already know, like Brian Flores for me and Mike McDaniel as the coordinator. The defensive coordinator, hey, Pick whoever you want, you know what I mean? Yeah. But Brian Flores will be calling plays. I mean, that would get me really excited.
The offensive player says pick whoever you want for defense. I'm kidding. We got one more segment coming up with Femi. We may even take a couple calls here. It depends on how this thing goes. Stick around. More to come.
The exciting action of the NFL postseason is on Westwood One. Hi, this is Scott Graham. Join us this weekend for the divisional round of the NFL playoffs. From now until Super Bowl 60, the NFL playoffs are on
105.7 The Fan.
Baltimore, be in the building when the Coppin State Lady Eagles lock wings with Don Staley's number 3 ranked South Carolina Gamecocks. Sunday, January 18th at noon in the PEC. Tickets are flying, so visit CoppinStateSports.com to lock yours in today.
Listen up, football fans. You won't want to miss this.
Right now, new Bet365 customers bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. So you could turn that $200 into something bigger when you bet on money line, spread, totals, player props.
$200 in bonus bets when new customers bet $5. I know where I'm going to bet from now on. Download the app today and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Maryland. T&Cs apply. In-app only.
Hi, Greg Talbot with Strategic Tax Resolution. Tax enforcement and defense strategies have changed a lot over the last year. After nearly 5 years, the IRS has restarted automated collections. You could be next for bank levies and wage garnishments. Ignoring the issue is not an option. Call 443-367-9000 to get protected. You have unfiled returns or can't renew your license? We work directly with the IRS and state so you don't have to. Let us use our proven strategies and experience with the IRS and state to resolve your tax issue. Qualified clients have cut their tax debt by more than 90%. How would that feel? Act now to learn the latest updates to tax relief programs. Your eligibility might not be the same. Strategic Tax Resolution, local, trusted, A+ rated by the BBB. call 443-367-9000. Ask for me, Greg Talbot, 443-367-9000. You've got a guy on your side. StrategicTaxResolution.com. Get relief.
This is the sound of resilience, relief, the sound of moving past cancer. Doctors at the University of Maryland Greenbaum Comprehensive Cancer Center are pioneering a breakthrough immunotherapy that's proving to stop cancer in its tracks. And with screenings and advanced treatments across the state, it's why more Marylanders trust the University of Maryland medical system to help put cancer behind them. That's a better state of care.
For 2 days only at Old Navy, score $16 jeans for adults and $10 jeans for kids. That's denim for the fam with $16 jeans for adults, $10 jeans for kids. This Friday and Saturday, only at Old Navy. Valid 1/16 and 17. Select styles only.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Baltimore, be in the building when the Coppin State Lady Eagles lock wings with Don Staley's number 3 ranked South Carolina Gamecocks, Sunday, January 18th at noon in the PEC. Tickets are flying, so visit CoppinStateSports.com to lock yours in today.
The Bruce Cunningham Show on Sports Radio 105.7 The Fan.
Bruce Cunningham Show on a snowy Saturday. The good news is the snow is finished. Femi and I get to talking here during the breaks, and the songs just play. I mean, Erin knows she's not panicked at all. Femi Abedejo, former Raven, Super Bowl champion, remains with us. I tell you what, let's take Tony in Rosedale real quick. Tony, what's up? Hey, Tony.
Hey, Femi. Hey, Bruce. How's it going?
Hey, Tony.
Well.
How are you, Tony?
Hey, Femi. I want to talk about Lamar's input on the next coach. But first, I want to tell you, during the reunion game, I went out of my way and hunted down Billy Davis with his cowboy hat on, and I thanked him because people forgot the catch he made to put Tony Banks in position to throw that pass to Shannon Sharp. Billy Davis caught a ball, did a spin move, and got us in position for that, what I still think the greatest game at that stadium when we beat Jacksonville.
Oh, yeah.
So I hunted him down and said, I remember that catch you did a spin move, and he was elated that I remembered that.
I remember. I forget who was writing it. I forget who was writing it for the Sun. But if you remember that against Jacksonville, Shannon catches that ball at the one, and he just gets killed. Whoever was writing for the Sun said, he caught the ball, he lost his life. He came back to life. He got hit again, lost his life again, fell in the end zone.
Yeah, but Shannon's doing pretty good.
Yeah, he's doing all right.
Sorry, Tony, didn't mean to interrupt you, brother. Go ahead.
He's used to it.
Yeah.
Go ahead. No, that's you're good. So Basadi said Lamar will have input on the next coach, but he won't have the power.
Yeah.
And I want to ask you what you think of something Bart Scott said yesterday. He said that it's interesting that Basadi getting Lamar input because the greatest Raven, Ray Lewis, he never asked for his input when he hired John Harbaugh. Does that show that, as an owner, he's grown, or what do you think of that?
Yeah, no,
Thanks, Tony.
And by the way, I saw that and I found that fascinating as well, and it was true. I just think the dynamics of the players and the coaches' relationship has evolved so much in the last 20 years. Coaches, in my opinion, there used to be this unspoken, ceiling that players couldn't crack when it came to discussing certain components of the organization, the business, and maybe even game planning and creativity. I think that Tom Brady started to crack that a little bit. Peyton probably did too, but defensive players obviously are looked at a little bit differently than offensive players are. We speak so much about offensive game planning and schematics, and when you have a generational player like Lamar and you move 20, 25 years forward into the future, there's just a lot more collaboration. And I do a ton of guest speaking and keynote speaking around the country from an agnostic perspective in regard to what I call the 4 C's. And this concept transcends all business and all relationships. And the first thing you have to do, in my opinion, is you have to be curious, right? Like if you're going to talk to somebody, you got to be a little bit curious. Because if you're not curious, you're not going to learn anything.
Nope.
The next thing you have to do is you have to be collaborative. Like, what are we going to work on? Now, we're curious, we're collaborating, and then you build a connection. And then the last thing you build after that is the ability for conflict. Conflict has to be the fourth thing. It can't be the second thing. It can't be the first thing. It has to be the last thing, because you have to establish those three other C's
and
first.
And then fight over.
And exactly. And then you can, and then you can do that.
Agree.
And guess what? Steve and Lamar are at a place where they can have natural conflict, and it's okay, because there's curiosity, there's connectedness, and there's collaboration. And this is a new concept for the NFL. The NFL is the old guard. It has been one of the most conservative leagues of all the leagues historically for years. So the Ravens have been ahead of this curve for a really long time. And I think Steve is just saying, like, hey, no, Lamar's going to have input. Yeah, I have the power, but we care about what our players think. I very much care about how my players feel. And Lamar will be as involved as he wants to be.
And as he wants to be. That appears to be the key to this thing. And that's going to be, I think, a key factor with him going forward. And that's what Kyle Goon wrote about. Is he going to be able to accept this responsibility and channel it in the right direction?
Yeah, you know what? I don't know. You know, look, I think
they didn't even wear the C for a long time. You know, the Ravens. But when they finally did, who did they give it to?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, so the thing that I'm really curious about is Steve mentioned this, and I even mentioned this a couple weeks ago when I was on. Lamar is an introvert. I sat here and I said this. Steve basically said that Lamar is non-confrontational. Mm-hmm. Now, don't confuse that quietness for weakness.
Right.
No one ever said he was weak, right? Nobody would, right? He just doesn't want to fight with people internally about certain things. And Lamar naturally has this line in the sand where it's like, hey, that's your decision. And I know that people want to move him along to the point where, no, but we care about your input. And I think I don't blame Lamar if part of him is like, when I say certain things, like, who's going to misinterpret that? Who might leak that? Or who might come up with their own narrative around that? Because he gets a bunch of blame for a bunch of things that are out of his control, and then gets very little credit when he does things the right way.
He got blamed for the starting time of practice. I had a caller earlier that asked me about that. Shed light on that.
I mean, look, there was an article that Ryan Mink wrote about the Ravens practice schedule, and it was based around data, and without going down a rabbit hole, human performance and the body being warmed up for practice. And that was a result of injuries to J.K. Dobbins, but that was actually an in-game injury. But Gus Edwards got hurt at practice. Marcus Peters got hurt at practice. There was a slew of injuries, and all these happened, back to back to back to back. And they said, we're going to change how we do things. And Coach Harbaugh implemented one of the best data systems in the NFL across multiple levels. And one of those things was about player safety. And he triangulated, and the staff triangulated, that it's better off for us if we practice later in the day for our athletes' bodies. And that's how that came to be. So I heard the caller call in about that.
Well, we said it straight.
And just make a point, I won't say the person's name again, but they came up with this false narrative. This had something to do with Lamar Jackson not wanting to get up and falling asleep in meetings, which has not been verified or validated by anybody anywhere.
Brian in Owings Mills, try to follow that, pal.
Hey guys, how y'all doing? Hey man, I don't get caught up in the the hit piece that Preston put out there about that. That's a disgrace. The person that said it sign your name to it. So saying if it's legit, could be somebody with a beef. Who cares? My problem is what I heard that I'll never get past when you call Lamar out. The kid's been a good model citizen since he's been here.
Definitely.
He takes so much heat, and then you're going to come out and say, I have the power? Like, that's disgusting. And then you're going to tell the kid, yeah, get your ass on a plane and go out here and pick this coach if you want to be involved. But you have the power, sir. You put up with this foolishness with John Fraudball for so long that you ruined this guy's prime.
All right, Brian, thanks for the call. Respond to that.
Yeah, no. I hear where Brian's saying, and I think Brian is – I think it's the delivery that he has an issue with, right? I don't think the gist or the intent of Steve, and I'm one of those people, I look at intent. and I know Steve personally, this is just the way Steve talks. And if you don't know the way that he talks and you haven't had time to speak with him, I could see how that might come off as offensive. And I've heard other people say the same thing. Me knowing Steve and me understanding his intent, I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
Lamar's going to be included, and that's Steve's invitation and his way of saying it. It's not graceful, but it's honest and it's transparent.
And it's in public.
Yeah,
sure.
and it's in public for sure.
Femi, I'm so glad you came by.
Hey, no, thanks. I
Always
appreciate
great
you
to
having
have
me.
you. All right, Femi Ayanbadejo, World or Super Bowl champion. Look who's on NFL Network.
Oh, Kyle Van Noy.
Kyle Van Noy.
KVN, I see you, bro.
Hey, I could see that as a career for him.
Yeah, no, definitely. He's already angling, and the KVN show is pretty solid too, by the way.
Good, absolutely. Stick around. Kyle Moon, Baltimore Banner, joins us next. Stick around.
The Big Bad Morning Show podcast. Full episodes. Listen by individual hours or head straight to the highlights on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get podcasts. Search Big Bad Morning Show and never miss what you missed.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying. Just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
With the new IHOP value menu, $6 is all it takes to go to your happy place, where stacks of pancakes with bacon and eggs are just $6 every day. French toast, sausage, and eggs are, you guessed it, $6. And fluffy omelets come with a side of pancakes and only cost $6. Go to your happy plates every day at IHOP. $7 in some locations. Available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
Hey, it's Ken Weinman. FanDuel's turning on playoff mode. All customers get a profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day, each game day during the divisional round. You'll find a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts waiting for you in the app. More boosts means more ways to level up your playoff bets. Pick the matchups you believe in, take your shot on an upset, or build a parlay that fits the moment. Hey, there's always the age-old question, rest versus rust. Those one seeds they haven't played, do you want to go against them or take them? It's always a big question. Then you can apply your profit boosts and go after even bigger payouts while the playoffs keep rolling. So visit FanDuel.com/local and grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. FanDuel Sportsbook's the official sportsbook of 105.7 The Fan. 21 plus and present in Maryland. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
If the billboard said, I want to buy your house for less than it's really worth, who would take that offer? If the text and email said, I'll buy your home for 70% of what you could sell it for, who would be interested? Most of those cash offers just aren't worth it. Instead, you should speak with my buddy Lee Tessier of VXP Realty. Unlike those offers, Lee's honest. He makes a cash offer too, but he's willing to do what so many others aren't. Make your offer for your home's fair market value. Taking one of those cash offers comes with a lot of convenience. You can sell your home as is or move on a timeline that works for you. Lee makes home selling just as easy and stress-free, but he'll actually pay you what your home is worth. If you want to see what the other companies will offer, go for it. Give Lee a chance to beat the other cash offers since his is for fair market value. I'm confident that he will. Call the old agent I qualify to sell my home. That man's my buddy Lee Tessier. Just give him a call at 410-638-9555 or go to LeeTessier.com. And when you call Lee, I'll just start packing.
If you're selling your home, don't make it hard. Just call Lee Tessier.
Hey man, that was our exit. We're gonna miss kickoff.
Don't worry. Just gotta stop by Giant to get some chips and dip real quick.
Nice. You got the Upside app too, right?
Upside? What's Upside?
Time out. You don't know this? Check this out. Upside is a free app that gets you cash back when you buy groceries. And it just added all Giant stores in DC, Maryland, Virginia, and Delaware.
You're saying I can get money back just for buying groceries? That's a pretty big deal.
Yep, and with Upside, you can get up to $15 every time you shop at Giant. Now pull over and get the Upside app. Let's get some cash back on that queso.
Download the Upside app and use promo code CHARM02 to get a $10 bonus on your first grocery purchase at Giant. That's promo code CHARM02 to get a $10 bonus. Use promo code CHARM02. Giant is now on Upside. It's a pretty big deal.
Offers vary by user and location at participating merchants. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
Attention.
Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-207-4545. That's 800-207-4545. Once again, that's 800-207-4545.
The Bruce Cunningham Show on Sports Radio 105.7 The Fan.
I've got a song, I ain't got no melody. I'm gonna sing it to my friends. I've got a song, I ain't got no melody.
Welcome back, Bruce Cunningham Show. On a Saturday, we want to remind you, Mike Popovic's in here right after me. He'll take you up to 4 o'clock. In college basketball, only one game going on right now involving a local team, and it's not going terribly well. Loyola losing to Boston U 26-18. That's with about 25% of the first half left. It's been a rough year over at Loyola. It's not been a rough year for the Baltimore Banner. They continue to add subscribers and impress people. I am one of them. And one of the most impressive things about the Banner is I get to read Kyle Goon a couple times a week. Kyle, how are you?
How you doing, Bruce? Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. Hey, I love this latest piece about Lamar. And I don't know if you were listening earlier, I had Femi in here, and I asked him what he thought about this. The headline of the column is, the Ravens are challenging Lamar Jackson to take the reins. He has to accept his power. That's a major part of this story, Kyle, and it's really the first time I've seen it mentioned in depth.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, a couple of weeks ago, I was sort of looking at some of the critiques that arose from Mike Preston's column about Lamar, and I was sort of like, okay, well, I mean, this is a great player we're talking about. You know, he's been great, and I think in that Steelers game kind of reminded us of what he's capable of. But what I really have kind of seen over, you know, the last 3 years of covering Lamar is just sort of this reticence to kind of be at the front. I mean, even now, as we're talking about, you know, what happened to John Harbaugh and Lamar's role in it, I mean, he didn't even say, you know, like, oh, John's been a great coach over the years when he was asked about it at the end of the season. And that vacuum is kind of significant for this team. I mean, and Lamar is a great player. He can rally the team back from deficits. He's obviously led this team to the AFC Championship game before, but just off the field, I think Lamar gets a little squirrely around some of the ways in which his contract, his position, his future affect the team. And the fact that Steve Bisciotti is saying, hey, here's a jet, get your ass up here for these interviews. That's the most direct challenge to Lamar's leadership I've seen. Yeah,
and it was done in true Bisciotti style. Kyle, this was long before you got here, but he used to do this every year. He used to sit down with us, and we all walked out of there thoroughly in love with Steve Bisciotti because that's the kind of guy he is. And you got to experience it for the first time. That was really refreshing for you, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you heard my question to him about his vision for the future. What do you think is going to happen in the next 10 to 15 years?
Yeah.
Said, Kyle, in 15 years, I'll be 80. Like, he has a great way of cutting through sort of the normal procedure of press conference. I mean, I think, you know, as you'd expect from a guy who is worth several $1 billion, he's very sort of secure within himself and is not trying to put on airs about what, I mean, you know, not that he didn't have an agenda, not that he didn't sort of dance his way around some questions, but I just felt an utter lack of pretense from Steve in that press conference, and I think a lot of Ravens fans did too.
He's always been that way. I told Femi this story. The first time I ever met Steve Bisciotti was in Oakland when they won the AFC Championship. And he had just come onto the scene. We're in the locker room getting our post game, and I feel a tap on my shoulder, and I turn around, and he says, Bruce, I'm Steve Bisciotti. And I said, hey, Steve, nice to meet you. And then I said to my photographer, come over here, let's get something with Steve. And Steve pushed the microphone down, and he says, no, this is Arts Day. And that stuck with me. That really moved me. I mean, that was a festive occasion. You'd think you have a lot to say. Nope, he referred everything to Art Modell. Knowing what you know of Steve Bisciotti, and especially after that performance last week, does that surprise you at all?
No, it doesn't. And I think, I mean, you know, that is a little different from what I'm about to bring up. But I think also when you think of Steve as a leader of this organization, you don't hear a lot about him over-involving himself, overextending himself, saying like, oh, we got to do this, we got to do that, like looking over Eric DeCosta's shoulder. You know, and he obviously inherited, you know, one of the greatest executives of all time, and Ozzie Newsome. And I was talking to Dominique Foxworth the other day, and he basically said, well, you know, Ozzie was a luxury because you could basically trust him to run everything.
Yeah.
But I do think that is a gift that Steve has given to other people in his organization. You're the football guy. You're the football expert. Hey, it's your show. You'll run it. And to me, sort of what you're saying about his treatment of Art, which is a fascinating story, by the way, it's sort of in the vein of, hey, Steve knows when it's his time to take center stage, like when he fired John, and he knows when to step back and let his leaders do their thing.
I wish he did it every year. I really do. I used to look forward to that so much. Let's shift gears now to this coaching search. It's the number one job that's open, and they have talked to literally everybody. Steve sounded like he wants to be deliberate about this. With so many jobs open, do you think that's the right approach?
Yeah, I do. And I think it's the right approach exactly for the reason you just mentioned. The Ravens have the best job available.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to hear anyone second guess that. I mean,
Pittsburgh, you could throw Pittsburgh in there, Kyle, but they don't have a quarterback, you know?
They don't have a quarterback.
No.
I mean, the next coach is going to have to. I mean, you saw how Tomlin struggled in the playoffs without a quarterback. The next coach is going to inherit that same problem. So, you know, I mean, if you want to put Lamar as sort of like, okay, the expectations are very high for the next coach, sure. But if you're a football coach, you should want to win a Super Bowl. That's what this franchise wants to do. And I think of all the teams, I mean, you know, John is now supposedly wrapping up this deal with New York. Do you think the Giants are going to be in position to win a Super Bowl in the next 3 years? I don't. So it's going to be a gradual build. Yeah. But Baltimore, you know, if they make some moves in the right and get a little lucky next year, you could win a Super Bowl here next year. And that's big.
That is real big. And it would be hard for a potential coach to ignore that. Do you have a favorite among these names we've been hearing? Or have you heard something that maybe somebody's a little bit ahead of the rest of the field?
You know, I'd be fibbing to you if I said, oh, I had some insight. I mean, obviously they're just wrapping up the first round.
Right.
I thought Steve was setting the stage for a potential what people call retread hire. And I think he was trying to set it up as this would be a second chance for somebody. I mean, you know, and again, Baltimore, maybe one of the best jobs that has opened up in years. And so if you take Robert Saleh and who never really had a quarterback, and his fate was sealed when Aaron Rodgers busted his Achilles, you know, do you get a better result, a second run? You take Brian Flores, who, you know, was coaching Tua when he was still finding his footing. Do you get a better result? Those are the two that I kind of think of, Saleh and Flores.
Yeah.
I lean more defensive head coach.
Me too.
For a variety of reasons. But, you know, I also think in sort of if you're looking for, quote unquote, the next John Harbaugh, that might be more of the Jesse Minter, Clint Kubiak variety, where you hire a young guy, somebody who has a lot of energy, and maybe they're your head coach for the next 20 years.
Yeah, and that's clearly what he's looking for. He's looking for another long-term hire. I walked away from that presser with that. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, I think he definitely wants somebody to be there for a while. And, you know, I mean, it's also remarkable. I think we have to acknowledge how remarkable it is for Mike Tomlin and John Harbaugh.
Crazy.
19 to 18 years. I mean, these are extreme outliers in this era of football. I doubt that John Harbaugh's successor will be a coach for 18 years in Baltimore, just because that's how things go. But, there is going to be a lot of pressure to win. I mean, Steve mentioned, it took John, I think, 5 years to win his first Super Bowl.
Yes.
And I don't think there's going to be the same level of patience. If you don't win a Super Bowl in the next 5 years with Lamar Jackson, you're probably not doing the job that Steve Bisciotti hired you to do. There's going to be more pressure on that next person who comes in. And I think that is as it should be, but I don't know if it's, conducive to, hey, here's our coach for the next 2 decades.
One last thing about Lamar, and then I'm going to let you go. Bisciotti also talked about the necessity to get this contract extended, and he said he doesn't want to go into April with this thing undecided. Does that add some urgency to this coaching search? Is the coach going to have to be in place before they can realistically expect, him to redo that contract?
Yeah, I mean, I think what I believe is going to happen is, obviously, Bisciotti sort of set the gambit of, hey, get up here to talk to these coaching candidates. And I would imagine that while Lamar is up in Baltimore, if he comes up to Baltimore, they're going to be doing some talking about what the team looks like. And again, I mean, this is just important for Lamar to do. Last time he did an extension, it was done, in April, I believe the day of the draft. The way that the Ravens' salary cap is structured, the way that they have to do things in free agency, if they want a chance at keeping Tyler Linderbaum, Lamar can't wait that long. There's been, some reports were filed over the last year showing that Lamar was not very reachable during his last extension conversations. It's on him to, be more available. And so I think these conversations are going to go on if Lamar comes up to Baltimore to do some of these interviews and be involved in this process. And hopefully the Ravens are closer to the finish line by the time this coach is hired than they were last time.
Great stuff. Kyle Goon, Baltimore Banner, man, I love you. I love reading you every day, and thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for having me, Bruce. It's a treat to be on your show every time. I really mean it.
Awesome. Thanks. I appreciate that. I often think twice, should I call these guys this often? Like Kevin Ostreicher, it's like every 2 weeks. So I try to hold back a little bit, and not torture people. But that was nice of him to say. All right, coming back, we got guys on the phones. We're going to go ahead and do that for the remainder of the show. Mike Popovic's up next. Want to remind you, he'll take you up to 4 o'clock.
Hey! 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 Hey!
Thanks for listening. Sports Radio 105.7 The Fan.
That's another amazing run by Team USA.
Mom, think I'll be on Team USA one day?
Well, I'll take this one.
What? Are you speaking to us?
Yes, and to answer your question, anything's possible, especially with Xfinity.
So, I can be the best snowboarder ever?
Well, I can't guarantee that, but Xfinity can guarantee that your internet price won't change for 5 years.
Okay. What if I practice every day?
Then maybe you'll be snowboarding for Team USA at the next Olympic Winter Games. And Mom, you'll still be paying the same price for Wi-Fi.
Ooh, really stuck the landing there. It's the Xfinity Gold Medal Celebration. Now through February 22nd, get our best price on gig Wi-Fi for 5 years guaranteed, just $50 a month. Plus, get Peacock Premium included for 2 years. That's a $10.99 value per month. Xfinity. Imagine that. Proud partner of Team USA. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Actual speeds vary.
Good morning. This is your Hardee's 2 for $5 breakfast mix and match alarm. We've got fluffy eggs and sausage on a made-from-scratch biscuit ready. Or perhaps biscuit and gravy. Ooh, maybe a sweet cinnamon roll. Wake up and smell that sweet deal. Mix and match any 2 for just $5 for a limited time. Only at Hardee's. Don't snooze on the app. Snag juicy deals, order ahead, and get to work on time. Maybe. Exclusive app offers for registered My Rewards members only. Available for a limited time at participating restaurants.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter.
Paramount Plus is the new home of UFC, and we're coming out swinging with UFC 324.
Oh, what a shot!
And 325. Boom! On back-to-back weekends, the new era is here.
It's time!
Every fight.
Bam! Let's go!
One subscription.
Oh, my goodness!
Pay-per-view just got knocked out.
Let's go!
Back-to-back blockbuster UFC events this month, only on Paramount Plus.
The Bruce Cunningham Show on Sports Radio 105.7 The Fan.
Tell the truth. When you hear that song, you're looking for that locomotive crashing into the house, aren't you? I know. It's okay. You can admit that here. I have no problem with that. Listen, thanks to Kyle Goon for being with us, and also Femi. That was a special time. I also wanted to remind you that the playoff game today, the Buffalo and the early game, you will hear right here on 105.7 The Fan. Of course, Buffalo and Denver. It'll be after Mike Popovic's show. So tune him in at 2 o'clock, and he will fill you in completely and tell you how it's all going to work. But, yeah, Mike will be in after me, and we are carrying the game. You can hear it right here on 105.7 The Fan. I don't know if you listen to a lot of play-by-play on the radio, but that's something I truly love. And if I got a chance to listen to a game on the radio and watch it on TV, I'll do that every time. And I mean every time. Radio's theater of the mind. And it's why even when I retired, I agreed to continue doing this, because this was my first love. This is broadcasting to me. This is one-on-one. And when I talk to you, people that like the show, they tell me all the time, it's like it's one-on-one. And I say, well, yeah, that's kind of the way it's supposed to be. I just the image of a man and a microphone and an audience. That's very romantic to me. And I've always thought an awful lot about that. And this past summer, Aaron, I don't know if I even told you this. This past summer was 50 years on the air for me. Yeah, 1975. WYCS-FM, Yorktown, Virginia. How about that? 410-583-1057. Let's go to Ron on the Eastern Shore. Ron, how you doing?
Hey, Bruce, how you doing? Congratulations on 50 years.
Thank you. All that means is I'm old as hell,
Yeah, no, it means you're great at what you do, buddy. Hey, listen, that guest before me, Kyle, he obviously knows his stuff.
Yeah.
But I kind of feel like he's a bit delusional in terms of the chances of winning a Super Bowl in the next 5 years with Lamar. I've been on a couple of the other shows, and I'll continue to say that I've seen Lamar play. I do not think this man will ever win a Super Bowl. I would actually take my chances, though we haven't seen Jackson dart for a long period of time. I'll bet that John Harbaugh has a better chance of winning a Super Bowl in New York than Lamar does.
Why would you say that?
In big moments, he does ridiculous stuff. The turnovers, the battling, so far.
I hate this, but we've lost him. Ron, I was hoping you could make your point, but the call is just breaking up, so we're going to have to say goodbye right now. Aaron, let's go ahead and say goodbye to Ron, and let's talk to Mike in Dundalk. Mike, how you doing?
Hey, Steve, how you doing?
Oh, hey, Steve, how you doing?
I'm sorry, Steve. I don't know why Steve's on my mind. But hi, Bruce.
How you doing, Harry? Good to hear from you.
I think with so much shoddy this week, my mind just, you know what I mean? Like, I want to talk to the guy, too. But
I hear you.
Of course, I want to talk to you, and congratulations on 50 years. But one thing I wanted to say real fast is you're like me. We're birds of a feather, other than Ravens. We love the radio, and I love Sandusky, Rod Wood.
Yeah.
And sometimes I actually have it on TV, but I turn the sound down because sometimes they can be a little biased.
Yeah.
I won't say any names,
Well,
But
if you remember, Femi did those broadcasts for a couple of years with Jerry.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, we already know what he can do. He was just on for a moment. I'd just be like, listening. He's like, wow, where does he get that from? But he's really, he's something. I'm glad you put him on.
He might be. I'm telling you the truth, Mike. He might be the smartest player I was ever around. The guy is brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, let me get this out before. I told Aaron, I said, I heard a trivia question. I want to see if you can get that right. I heard a trivia question this week that I didn't know, and it fascinates you with this sport of football, as we call it. It said, what current NFL coach has more regular season rushing yards than Bo Jackson?
Current NFL coach. You've really put me on the spot. Give me the answer. I'm wasting time trying to figure it out. Who is it?
It's actually Jim Harbaugh.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, his brother didn't even know that. They interviewed John. They said, John said, I don't know. Wait, so they said, I'll give you a hint. It's AFC. He goes, oh, wait a minute, Jim, right? So in other words, Jim has 2,787 yards, and Bo has 2,782. So Jim got him by 5. Even John didn't know. So I said, well, I'll give John something out the door.
Sure.
I didn't know. Did you know that? I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. I'll tell you one other. Mike, thanks for the call. I'll tell you one other piece of trivia. I mentioned this at the top of the show. Sean Payton is trying to become the first coach in NFL history to win a Super Bowl with 2 different teams. He's already won one with the Saints and now with the Broncos. Something to keep an eye on. Let's go to Chris in Baltimore. Chris, what's up?
Hey, Bruce. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
Congratulations on everything you have accomplished. The question I want to know, 2 questions. One question is, do you think there's a chance the Ravens can follow the trend with Mike Vrabel and bringing in former players and running a team? And then the other question is, which tight end stays and which one leaves?
I'm glad you brought that up because I was going to bring that up with Femi and I ran out of time, and also with Kyle. I got a feeling that you could see Likely in a Giants uniform next year.
Wow. Man.
I do. Because, look, they re-signed Andrews already, right? He's under contract. Right. So that leaves you either, the other 2 tight ends, and I think they're going to take the cheaper route there. And I think they're going to let Likely go get his bag somewhere else.
Wow. Do you believe they made chance of franchising Lindenbaum?
There's a chance of that, but that's really going to be expensive. I think Linderbaum right now is their number one, problem that they got to deal with contractually. I think he's head and shoulders above everybody else. As bad as that offensive line is, you don't want to let the starting center get away,
But I'll wait for your comment about the Ravens may follow that trend with bringing in Weaver as a
I would like to see it, coach. But you know what? You don't have to go, Chris. It doesn't sound like it. Bisciotti he talked for some length the other day about don't be confused if we bring in a retread. A guy who was a hot coordinator 5 or 6 years ago and then took a head coaching job for a team that was in a bad situation and didn't have a quarterback. That was a really fat clue that he dangled out there. So as you look at these candidates that have come to visit, try to match that with the candidate, and I think you might get a little bit better picture of what he's going to do. I'm a Flores guy. I've been honest about it. I think
I am too.
Well, he's tough. And he'll go in that locker room and he will get attention and he will get respect. And I think right now with this roster, that's going to go a long way. But a lot of it's going to come down to Lamar. Can he get along with Lamar? And that's why Lamar is involved with this selection process, The
guy who I will call a dark horse will be what's the defensive coordinator from Cleveland? He will be my dark horse.
Yeah, he's being mentioned a lot. And Sala, too, from the 49ers. Remember, he was a head coach with the Jets. And there's just a lot of ex-head coaches that are candidates for this job. And I think Bisciotti dangled all you need to know last week,
Well, Bruce, you have a marvelous, fun weekend, and I hope whoever you pick for the Super Bowl comes to pass. Oh, one last question.
Yeah.
Are you? What do you think on a South Carolina Coppin game?
I think it's a great thing for Coppin. I know that it was probably hard for Coppin to schedule that, but it's going to fill that place, and they're going to have some money coming in the door for a change, and I just think it's a healthy thing all the way around. I'm really happy that they decided to do this. But it reminds me of a story real quick. I used to work in Mobile, Alabama, and there's a school down there called University of South Alabama. Cliff Ellis was the basketball coach here. He went on to Clemson and Auburn. He had a real nice career. Well, they got Kansas to come in. So I said, Cliff, how in the world did you get Kansas to come into Mobile? He says, well, it's a home and home. He says, they come here this year, and then we go there until the end of time. And I got a feeling something similar is going on with the Coppin women as far as this matchup. You follow me? I think so. I just love that story so very much. Look, I still got guys on hold, but we're not going to be able to be fair to you. We are almost out of time here. Mike Popovic texted me, and he said, here's how it's going to work. He said he's going to do his show an hour and a half, and then the NFL pregame show will come on at 3:30. So Mike will be on right after me, and he will explain that in far more detail. But that's how the rest of the day is going to go around here. I'm looking forward to these games. My wife's out of town. I'm going to go home. I'm going to put my fat pants on. I'm going to turn on that pellet stove. I'm going to watch me some football. Maybe some bourbon will be involved. Sounding better and better, isn't it? So anyway, thanks for sticking around for 2 hours of this mess today. I really want to thank my guests. I was happy with this guest slate today. Rich Dubroff, BaltimoreBaseball.com. Obafemi Ayambadejo for coming in here live, and Kyle Goon from the Baltimore Banner. I appreciate them all. I do, and I appreciate all of you. In fact, that's why I always say, Baltimore, I love you madly, and ain't nothing you can do about it. I'm Bruce. No show next week. I'll talk to you again in 2 weeks. Until then, see ya.
Coming to the Fan in 2026. NCAA Men's Basketball Tournament with Bob Haney and Jimmy Patsos. Hot Stove League with Ryan Ripken. Orioles opening day live from Pickles Pub. Baltimore Baseball Tonight. And our Fan Appreciation Party, Faniversary. Listen at 105.7 and watch live on YouTube weekdays 6 till 6. Sports Radio 105.7, The Fan.
Baltimore, be in the building when the Coppin State Lady Eagles lock wings with Don Staley's number 3 ranked South Carolina Gamecocks. Sunday, January 18th at noon in the PEC. Tickets are flying, so visit CoppinStateSports.com to lock yours in today.
I checked Allstate first and saved hundreds on my car insurance. Really smart. Unfortunately, I didn't check if I took the gas hose out of my car's tank. Ooh, not smart. And I drove off while still attached to pump number 3.
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds.
Potential savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate North American Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Chick-fil-A's new Frosted Sodas and Floats. It's a 10 out of 10. Hey, this is Lizzie, a team member at my local Chick-fil-A, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich and new Frosted Sodas and Floats is how well they go together. You will love having your favorite soda blended with our creamy ice stream to make a new Frosted Soda or Float. With the mix of the ice stream and soda fizz, it's so delicious, I call it Fizzalicious.
Order a Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich and a new Frosted Soda and Float at your local Chick-fil-A restaurant. Real team member paid for their testimonial.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now, there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. Build your team. Build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. And you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Paying too much for your personal home and auto insurance? Most people are and don't even know it. Gray Insurance Group cuts costs on your personal home and auto insurance by searching top carriers to find the lowest rates. Better coverage, real savings month after month. Why wait and throw money away? Call Paul now at 410-879-6383. Gray Insurance Group handles everything. Most clients save hundreds every year before their next renewal. Gray Insurance Group, 410-879-6383.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You're still grooving, still connecting, still loving, still turning up, still thriving. You still got it, but your immune system, it weakens as you age. That's where vaccines come in. They help train and strengthen your immune response to fight off respiratory illnesses like flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, or COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Book in minutes at VaxAssist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
From the Thompson Creek Window Company studios, one window replacement company that does it all. This is WJZ-FM, Catonsville, Baltimore's sports talk at 105.7 The Fan, and always live on the free Odyssey app. The Mike Popovic Show on Sports Radio, 105.7 The Fan.
2 o'clock straight up on this Sports Saturday in Charm City as the snowflakes come down in part. Hopefully you're staying safe wherever you are. And, it's interesting that it is snowing or has been snowing, at least in the Baltimore metro. No flakes here on the Eastern Shore, just raindrops, although we're supposed to get some snow tomorrow. But during the Christmas time, snow is a part of the backdrop. In some cases, in some locales, we got some prior to Christmas. You might be saying, Mike, what does this have to do with sports at all? Well, what I'm driving at is that I know, and Bruce made mention of this, many in the media, many including yourself, and I can be counted in that as well, have talked about this week that we would love to hear from Steve Bisciotti more often. But in further reflection of that, though, I view Steve Bisciotti at the podium for the Ravens as Christmas Day, as a birthday, as an anniversary. It's special because it's one time of year. Now, I understand he has not been doing it once a year since 2017. I know he talked to reporters a couple of years back at one of the owners' meetings, I believe winter meetings in Florida. But that where he used to do a year in, year out, he doesn't do that anymore. But just to the general point of having Steve Bisciotti speak more to the media, more to the fans, I would say that if it got to be a more regular thing, that it wouldn't be as special as it is. But that said, I do think in a lot of ways having him speak once a year and getting back into that routine would still be nice. And at the same time, it would not be anywhere near overkill if you were talking, once a month or once a week, et cetera. Or doing a regular segment on a show the way that Jerry Jones does down at our sister station, 105.3 The Fan in Dallas. One of the morning show hosts there is a Maryland guy.